A quick update for you so far today. It is 2:30 about. I have me on in the background. Yeah! I was watching some of my most recent videos and then it just kept going on autoplay. But yeah, I started off my day, woke up, rolled out of bed, and hopped on my Zoom meeting for my Centers for chapter. It was great to connect with those guys. I mentioned something that has been top of mind for me that most people wouldn't think about. You know, just because we're quarantined doesn't mean time is stopping. And what I mean by that is, for a big demographic of individuals all around the country, they're about to turn 65 or about to fully start their Medicare. And that's scary, because usually the number one way that people are getting onto, oops, sorry, I swiped something, it did something weird with my screen. But usually the number one way that people get their information about Medicare is going to seminars. Going to seminars from people like myself, from independent insurance brokers, going to seminars from, I don't know, senior resource groups, or SHIP. Just seminars are kind of the main way people get information about Medicare. That's just kind of how it is. And this quarantine, unfortunately, obviously prevents people from meeting up in person. So that means everyone that is looking for information is looking online. And when you look for information online, whether it's about Medicare or whether it's about toothbrushes, you always see ads. And so I find it really scary that big group of people, a big population, will start looking into Medicare exclusively through the internet. And it's scary because if they get signed up with an incorrect Medicare plan right out the gate, they may be stuck with that plan basically for the rest of their life, and it could cause huge financial burdens and issues down the road. And so it's very frustrating, and I brought this up to my Centers for chapter. I'm trying to get in front of those who are turning 65 in the next several months, and those who just need to get informed. You know, I have a little saying, I teach people the A, B, C's, and D's of Medicare, because those are the 4 parts of Medicare. And I also obviously go into Medicare supplements. But what I do is I educate. So I say, here's what the Medicare supplement route looks like, here's what a Medicare Advantage plan looks like, and this is what the pros and cons are of this, and this is what the pros and cons are of this. And people won't get that. People will just get, you know, paid ad at the top of Google, best Medicare plan in the state of Nebraska or whatever. So I'm trying to get in front of people who are on Medicare, and I'm trying to, or who are getting onto Medicare, and trying to help prevent them from just making a terrible mistake just because of this quarantine, and just because of a bottleneck of information that this self-isolation has caused. After that Zoom meeting with my Centers for chapter, I worked out for a little over an hour, and then I showered, obviously, and then I meal prepped and ate lunch. And while I was meal prepping and eating lunch, I was listening to a national webinar, actually, by one of the FMOs, or field marketing organizations, that I go through to get contracted with a couple insurance carriers. And it was a seminar about how to use, or how to market, I guess. And it was just basically, it sounded like an old insurance agent, just basically saying, you need to be on Facebook, you need to be on LinkedIn, Instagram is full of pictures, you know, whereas LinkedIn is more business posts. You need to do social media. That's basically what the presentation was. So that time was not that webinar was not very informative to myself, because that's what I already do. I eat, sleep, and breathe kind of social media. More insurance, but I'm very active on social media. At least I was cooking while that was going on, I guess. So it wasn't a total waste of time. I was multitasking, even though they say you shouldn't multitask. But then after that webinar, I was responding to emails and actually sharing, blasting out a social media post, actually, ironically. I was sharing my most recent Broker Tapes video with the 500 Millennials of Omaha Facebook page, with Crazy Stock Crew, and with another online group that I'm in on Facebook. So now, like I said, it's about 2:30, a little after 2:30, and the next thing I have is at 3, and what is that? That is the CORE, which is the Coalition of Resources for the Elderly. It is the CORE Zoom monthly happy hour networking meeting. That's not the official name, that's way too long, but some sort of another Zoom thing, so I will bring up my Medicare issues again on that. So I was wrong. My next Zoom thing was not until 4 p.m. actually. So what I did for the past little bit was continue to do some social media stuff and respond to emails. I actually got a referral from my cousin who does mostly group health and group benefits, so that was fun. And then I started reading this book, my book for April. I'm about to hop on. It's a virtual happy hour, the Zoom call. So, very fitting. I'm about to lay in bed and drink a Corona. I'm all ready for virtual happy hour. Cheers.
In terms of the quarantine and I guess how it's affected me, it's a little bit different, you know, for those of you that all have kids and husbands and wives.
My Zoom networking meeting went really well. Again, that was with CORE, the Coalition of Resources for the Elderly. And we just kind of shared what facilities were still open, the resources available. Some people were doing a drive of coloring books and puzzles to drop off at the at different assisted living and independent living facilities, so that was fun. Yeah, I of course contributed saying that people who are going on to Medicare are only seeing information and only getting their information from online ads, so I emphasized the importance of talking to a broker, especially right now during the quarantine. But now I actually just received a video from one of my editors for Project 402. He sent me a finished interview, so I'm going to be watching and kind of critiquing that and giving him any feedback on different changes that he needs to accomplish before I can publish it to my YouTube channel and it can go live. So I'm going to be watching that for about the next hour. Alright, vlog. So a couple things happened. One, I gave back my notes to the editor of the Project 402 video. I was not very impressed. And this was actually the second time of him sending it to me. And there was still several corrections that needed to be made, like blatant corrections, like words getting cut off, transitions happening mid-sentence so you couldn't hear the entire sentence. I don't know. He said he hasn't had much experience editing videos, and I guess I can't be too picky because he is doing it for free. So it is very kind that he's spending some time doing this. Something else that happened, my other editor said that he is uploading a Project 402 interview as we speak. So a lot of movement with my side hustle or my side gig, Project 402, which is a interview series, I guess that's the best description, a podcast you could call it maybe, where I interview local business owners and influential people around the city of Omaha. Another thing that I did since I last talked to y'all was I added 10 audiences to my Facebook ads page, Facebook ads account, I guess, technically. But I don't have any money to spend right now towards those ads and towards those audiences, but I'll give you a quick little glimpse as to the audiences that I did create. So like I just said, I made 10 of them. The first one is coronavirus impacted people in Nebraska and Council Bluffs, so all the way out to North Platte. This targets people like hairdressers, those in the hospitality and food service industries, people that allocated or indicated that they are unemployed, etc. Next, I did 64-year-olds in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and then all three combined. Not sure why this one doesn't give me a potential audience size, but whatever. So this obviously is great for targeting those who are going to be getting onto Medicare, probably, or who are at least turning 65 within the next year. That's these four. And then this one right here, I only did under 65 open enrollment targeting for those in Nebraska. That includes 25 to 63-year-olds all. Then I have some criteria down below that I'm not going to show you in case it does well and you guys want to try to copy me. Probably won't do well though. I have no idea what I'm doing with all this stuff. But I only did it in Nebraska, like I said, because I don't do much ACA in Iowa or Kansas. And so Nebraska is just my main ACA state. But then, of course, also doing enrollment, people just in general need health insurance. I do short-term plans and share programs in Iowa and Kansas currently, but if it's open enrollment season, the majority of people shopping around will probably be those who are looking to go into the marketplace. Then, moving along, these last four are essentially Medicare audiences of northern Kansas, northeast Nebraska, southeast Nebraska, and just Nebraska as a whole. Most of these focus on Nebraska just because obviously that's my home state. I'm based out of Omaha right now. At the time of this video, that will probably never change. Sorry, I'm getting Facebook notifications on you guys. But yeah, Nebraska's home base, and Nebraska's the main state I want to focus on. I'm most familiar with the plans in Nebraska, definitely most familiar with all the laws, and so it just makes sense to focus my money and my ad spend on that state. But guys, it's about 9:30. More Facebook notifications, gosh. I am going to wrap it up for tonight in terms of work. I'm going to probably play a game or watch a movie and talk to my mom and sister, hang out with them a little bit maybe. But that's kind of it. Nothing too exciting. Pretty busy despite the quarantine, so I was happy about that. I had a very productive day, although I'm dead ass tired. I woke up super early. Well, I woke up the earliest I have in a while, which was just before 8 o'clock. Don't judge me too much. But I've been working out every other day, and those in-between days I've been walking at least for an hour and starting to do yoga again on those days as well, so I'm beat. But I realize I haven't really had dinner yet even, so I need to go do that before anything else. So that's a wrap. Thanks guys for tuning in to this episode. As always, please drop a like, spread some love in any way possible. So if that's sharing the video or subscribing to stay updated, and make sure you're not missing all of the good content I'm putting out and tips for insurance brokers, and also just an insight into my life and my journey as an insurance agent. So with that being said, good night guys. Peace out.